Grizzlies versus San Antonio Spurs last night on what was it, July the 5th? January the 5th. I'm tripping. I'm still waking up. January the 5th, 2019, top of the year. This is your host, Ed Memphis, none other. Holla at your brother, official Titan, die hard, you know it. You can follow me at Business Square, at BIDNESSSQUARE, at Business Square on Twitter. No spaces, underscore, none of that. Just one word, basically, two words mixed, pushed together. At Business Square on Twitter, or you can follow me at Man on D Square on Instagram, or you could just hashtag Ed Memphis on Google anywhere, and that's gonna pull up anything that I'm dealing with. Articles I might be writing for the Beale Street Bears and fan sided, any of that. So we definitely we in the building, baby. We want to get this going right away. We're gonna jump right into it. Grizzlies last night take another L, man. And it was at one point in the game where the Grizzlies were down 20 at halftime. No, I was just blown away. I'm like, man, they gonna really lose. They gonna lose this game too. Like after everything that's going on so far, they gonna lose this game too. Is what I'm thinking. Like, oh my god. And then I'm looking at people on Twitter. I was on Twitter last night, of course, while I'm watching the game. And I'm looking at people like Katie Forbes, shout out to Katie, on Twitter, and other people, and they were just like, man, if the Grizzlies lose two more games, this one and another one, being last night's game versus Spurs, they lose two more games, and that one of the two. Nobody can really see JP, the Bickerstaff, staying around. Nobody can see him being able to last after that. I think after that, man, I think front office gonna get rid of him. I think they already thinking about it now, despite the fact that they done had like their fifth coach or whatever, like in the past 5 years. They done had like they fifth coach by now. So despite that, man, the Grizzlies right now, it's looking well, that would be if we get rid of JB, whoever our next coach would be our fifth coach in 5 years. Let me clear that up. And that itself, that shows a lot of instability in the franchise, man. It shows the NBA, that definitely not the most stable franchise in sports, to say the least. And I think that's the main thing the Grizzlies are scared of, that PR hit, because of the implications of what the fallout of the media. They don't really never talk about us anyway, unless it's a Grizz fighting in the locker room or something where they can make a dramatic narrative out of it. They don't talk about the Grizzlies or talk about Memphis unless that's the key. So when we talk about the PR, the fallback of the team, man, they don't want to fire the coach and have to deal with that PR. Man, here they go again. They done hired their fifth coach in 5 years. They going there again. They doing it again, constantly firing coaches. And that's a hard narrative to shape once that really gets on your head. Ask Sacramento. They have had a hard time with their organization because of the narrative that they're an unstable franchise. That's not the narrative that you want in today's NBA, because these players have the ultimate freedom. It's not like it used to be 20 years ago. And these guys can vote on you. Not only will they leave in free agency, they'll go to another team. And back in the day, if they went to another team, they would sign the maximum term of that contract. If it was a 7-year deal, it used to be like 7 years. They used to be up to 10. Then it dropped down to 7, then 6. Now it's 5 years. So, but it's 4 years if you vote and go to another team in free agency. So but the thing now, these guys they won't sign the 4-year deal. DeAndre Jordan, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Boogie Cousins, all of these all-star guys in their prime have left their team and went to another team only to sign a 1-year agreement, only to sign a 1-year deal. That meaning they're taking control of their future. So if they don't like what happened in that 1 year, throwing them tools at you, they getting up out of there quick. You understand me? Quick. So That's the key that you got to realize, and they don't want to create that buzz. We're already in the small market, one of the smallest markets in the league. So we don't attract major free agents. So the last thing we want to do is be labeled an unstable franchise, and you won't be able to give me a level free agent. Then you at least gonna be challenged to do it, and that's not what the Grizzlies trying to do. But last night, just jump into, man, that was terrible. That was terrible. It looks like, I'm gonna be honest with you, when they went down 15, I was saying to myself, man, this team, clearly JB Bickerstaff, the head coach, has lost a few players on this team, to say the least. He's lost a few players. And one of the reasons why JB Bickerstaff has lost a few of his players on this team, as far as the fight in them, for him, for one reason, is the fact that JB came off almost showing favoritism to certain veterans, regardless of how well or how terrible they played. Regardless of how well they played or how terrible they played, JB showed certain favoritism to certain guys, particularly Shelvin Mack. That's the number one guy. And then probably JaMychal Green, Chandler Parsons at the beginning of the year. Because now I was hearing rumblings out of camp. I wasn't around camp. I wasn't around training camp at the time this year. But there were rumblings that Chandler Parsons supposedly beat out Kyle Anderson for the starting job. Now looking at Kyle Anderson and looking at what Chandler Parsons is, even if he was healthy today, I can't see that. I believe that was some political garbage. I believe that was total BS from the jump. I don't believe he might have, because Kyle was struggling at first to kind of find his way in this team, to find his role. I remember that early on, the first 5 games, he kind of was struggling. Maybe that was the case, but I still don't quite believe that. I believe that Chandler Parsons started over Kyle Anderson, one, because what people don't know, again, I've stated it before. If you follow me at Business Square on Twitter, by the way, you can follow me at Business Square, BIDNESS. I'm Ed Memphis. You can hashtag Ed Memphis. That's ED Memphis. Hashtag Ed Memphis. You can do that on Google and pull up anything that I'm dealing with, which is quite a few things. Or you can do that. Also, check out the upcoming project, Circle B Smoke Sauce and Jungle Juice, the album coming soon. But anyway, they that issue to me with the Grizzlies, man, with JB, that took a toll on players. And I believe eventually players tuned them out and they didn't really respect or really take to heart everything JB started saying or JB was saying, because they looking at it like, man, we gonna listen to you. And you playing Shelvin Mack, and this man playing like trash the past 20 games. Shelvin Mack playing like he barely can even be in the league. Like he's almost like a G League contract, pretty much, a two-way guy. That's what Shelvin Mack looked like the past 20 games. And you still playing this dude? And then you want to tell us to play hard for you? Well, they do that. You understand me? And that's what the players, I truly believe that that's what the players were looking at, man. They looking at it like, man, we ain't finna balls to the wall for this dude, and this dude ain't even playing us. This man playing Shelvin Mack and JaMychal Green, which nothing wrong with, no disrespect to neither one of those guys. Shelvin Mack came in and did what he could. JaMychal Green has really came in and played really well there as a reserve forward. But that's the problem. JB is essentially really playing him as a split starter, meaning it's almost like power forward by committee between Jam and Jaren Jackson Jr. And that's a problem. This should not be a power forward by committee situation. JaMychal Green is a really solid player, a really decent player, pretty much solid all-around player. Does a little bit of everything. He's pretty much a Swiss Army knife at power forward. He's a stretch forward. He can switch defensively from 3 through 5. He actually used to play small forward, so he's capable of playing small forward, JaMychal Green. But at the same time, JaMychal Green is a 28-year-old power forward who's had his chance to start last year and Jermichael didn't quite just seize that opportunity, to say the least. Jermichael didn't go out and put up 15 tonight. Let's just say that. You know, Jermichael is a 10, 11 point guy, 7 rebound guy. That's essentially who he is. If he's playing 25 to 30 minutes a game, then you can pretty much count him for that 10 to 9, that 9 or to 11 point range, and that 7, 8 rebound range. You can pretty much count him for that. Maybe a 3-pointer every game or two. And some switchable defense, some solid, decent switchable defense, capable. I've seen Jermichael Green play Kevin Durant, and I've seen Jermichael Green play Karl Anthony Towns. So, Jermichael's not a bad player per se, but he's definitely not one I'm going to be playing over the number 4 pick overall, especially when that number 4 overall pick is a Kawhi, is Kevin Garnett himself called Jaren Jackson Jr. the first Kawhi big man. That is extremely descriptive and incredible. Kawhi big man, a big man that can get down court, defend you from the 3. He can defend you from the 3-point to the rim, defend you very well, stay right up on you, then block your shot if you get to the rim, get the rebound himself, capable of bringing up the court in a fast break and either pulling it up for a 3-pointer or taking it all the way to a rack for a dunk. He's capable of doing all of that on a routine basis within the game every night. That is Jaren Jackson Jr.'s potential. That is Anthony Davis, all NBA type potential. You don't play with that, man. You burn that up immediately. You say, look, this is my superstar. Mike Conley was already who he is, whatever he is. He's not a superstar to me. He's a star. He's an all-star caliber player at his peak, but again, he's not an all-star snub. And he's damn sure not superstar elite status. He hasn't earned it, though Mike has the potential. Mark, to me, is borderline all-star superstar, because the only thing that stops Mark from being a superstar is himself. Mark loses his passion. Mark's a very moody guy. So if his mood swing is on the down slope, Mark is just playing like a really good player in between all-star. But when Mark is on, when Conley is on, Conley looks like an all-star. When Mark is on, Mark looked like an MVP candidate. It's just totally different. That's what people don't realize. A lot of people say Mike is the best player. How do you say that? How do you say Mike has either the best player or the greatest capability on this team? First of all, Mark is not only a 16 to 20 point guy, a 7 to 8 rebounder guy, a 4 to 5 assist guy, a 2 blocks per game every night, these stat lines every night guy. But he's also a defensive player of the year candidate. Pretty much every year, he's one of those best defensive players in the league, if not the best defensive player in the league some years. So I don't understand why fans say that. But anyway, last night, even Mark looked like he just quit, man. Mark wasn't getting back. I seen times when Mark wasn't running down the court. Mark wasn't trying to play defense at times last night. Mark just looked like he's tuning out, almost like the coach lost him again. And Mark's got to check himself on that, because if the coach is constantly losing you got to look at the common denominator, brother. JB Bickerstaff, aside from being a black man, and we know Marcus All ain't racist, that's the only thing common that JB and Fizz have in common. But, I mean, because they're two totally different coaches, personality-wise, coaching style, approach, schemes, tactics. Even the fact that JB is a defensive coach, clearly, JB is a defensive coach and a grade F offensive coach. And Fizz is a development and an offensive-minded coach. Development first, offense second, everything else falls in place type of coach. That's what Fizz is. So you're looking at essentially apples and oranges when you're looking at your last two coaches. And yeah, Mark it's clocking out on both. I hate to say it, I love Mark. Mark is one of my favorite players of all time in the NBA. I tell people all the time, you cannot if you had to pick at their best, at their top A game, you can't pick six centers that you would take over Marc Gasol. I can't. I can't. Now, I'm talking about in the history. I named Shaq, Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt. Oh my God, I know this is embarrassing. I named like another two guys. And that's it. Those are the only guys. If Marc Gasol is on his A game, 40-point Marc Gasol, defensive player of the year Marc Gasol, damn near 10 assists in one game type Marc Gasol, what he does, if he's that guy, it ain't six, it may be five centers in NBA history going all the way back to the 50s that I would take over Marc Gasol. That's the type of baller you're dealing with when you're dealing with Gasol. And it's disappointing when we don't see Gasol giving his all, but at the same time, we got to understand Gasol's situation. Gasol looking at it like he's playing with a bunch of morons and possibly playing for a moron. I'm not going to disrespect, the coach, but I'm saying, our coaching doesn't look like the greatest right now. It definitely don't look like Pop down in San Antonio is running our team. It looks like a situation where a player would eventually clock out on. So when I'm looking at that and I say that in particular, I'm like, man, ain't no way in the world you can totally put this on Marc Gasol. Even if but I put this on Marc that he has to step up and realize, bro, you got to be stronger mentally and drag and carry this team because that's what superstars do. However, this thing about Marc. Marc is naturally a superstar by talent and gift. Marc doesn't try to be a superstar. Mike Conley, on the other hand, however, is now trying to be a superstar. That's why I'm so much more hard on him, man, because people hype Mike Conley up to their degree, and they don't really do Marc like that. They don't really hype Marc up like that. Even local Memphian fans, you don't really hear them brag about Marc Gasol, but they always brag and just rave about Mike Conley. And then I've heard Mike Conley himself now say he really wants to be an all-star. Hey, big dog, man, you need to play like an all-star, partner, because what you're doing right now is not all-star caliber. And y'all can follow me at Business Square if you want to question that or you want to, dispute that claim, because that's just facts. It's not even a claim. That's facts. Mike Conley is not an all-star in the Western Conference. Not an all-star guard. Hell no. Nah. Over who? Who you going to take out? Steph? Russell Westbrook, you gonna take out Russ? Really? You gonna take out Brody? You gonna take out Steph Curry? The greatest shooter of all time? Damn near the greatest player ever? I don't know. This guy's on a whole nother level. Mike Conley can't even clean his sneakers. You can't even clean Steph Curry's sneakers, let alone say you're in the same galaxy as Steph Curry, dude. You're not an all-star on that level. Kidding me? Mike Conley is essentially a name brand George Hill. Mike Conley is a name brand Chucky Atkins. Mike Conley is a name brand Mike James at his peak. Old Mike James, not new Mike James. Old Mike James. That's Mike Conley. Not Russell Westbrook. Mike Conley is not Steph Curry. Mike Conley is not James Harden. He's not Klay Thompson. He's not Dame Lillard. He's not Drew Holiday. He's not Derrick Rose in Minnesota. Because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Derrick Rose this year in Minnesota, long as he stay healthy, I'll take that Derrick Rose over Mike Conley. Talk your ass off, argue with me. You can call me. You can hit me on Twitter at Business Square, whatever, or you can comment below in this YouTube. But when you get through sad or blue, Mike Conley ain't even Derrick Rose in Minnesota. And that's the bottom line, Jack. That's the hardcore truth. That's just facts. And when I think with players, I think when local fans accept that and come to a realization of that, then they'll be a lot better off as far as their expectations. I seen fans last night on Twitter, like, oh man, they were like telling me like, oh man, I'm about to quit as being a Grizzly fan. I'm just about to tune it all out. And I'm like, no, what you doing? Where you going? This the show y'all been needing to see. This what y'all been needing to see. When y'all been seeing Mike Conley an all-star, it's ridiculous. He is an all-star. Yeah, it is rigged. He's elite. He's a top 20 NBA player. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? Is you done or is you finished? Because when you get through, you sound ridiculous at this point. That boy ain't nowhere near no all-star in the Western Conference. Stop saying that. Stop saying it. Maybe in an era where there's a downslope of point guards, maybe Mike Conley can make an all-star team in that era. I can see that because his numbers, 20 points a game, 6.5 assists, 3 rebounds a game. That does qualify you for all-star. Absolutely no doubt. But when you got guys averaging 30 points, 8-9 assists, 8-9 rebounds, and you got several guys in the Western Conference doing that, my brother, they're on a whole different tier than you. A whole different tier. You got guards like Klay. Who you gonna take out? Klay Thompson, the one who can score. Klay Thompson has scored 30-some points in one quarter on multiple occasions. Klay Thompson at one point has scored 37. He has scored 37 points in one quarter. I remember that when Klay Thompson put 37 points up in one quarter. I watched that. Okay. Mike Conley's career high in a single game is 38. So basically, Klay Thompson has put up Mike Conley's career high in one quarter. One freaking quarter. Klay Thompson has matched it. Don't you ever, if anybody has questioned whether or not you should replace Klay Thompson with Mike Conley in the All-Star game, because that's essentially what you're saying. You got to replace either Klay, Dame Lillard, because you damn sure ain't replacing Steph or nobody, or James Harden. No freaks like that. These guys are freaking robots. They on a whole, they're like Tron or something. Are you kidding me? Don't you ever put Mike Conley in the same sentence as Steph Curry, James Harden, Klay Thompson, Russell Westbrook. And to be honest with you, it's getting to the point where you can even throw Damian Lillard in that conversation of guys you can't even put Mike Conley in the conversation of. So, folks need to think about that. Last night's game was a blowout in all sorts. I'm looking at the Spurs just run circles around us. What's the boy named Derek White Jr.? I watched Derek White Jr. Man, almost looked like Jason Kidd out there last night. Then when we were at times when, the low post with Kyle Anderson and Jaren Jackson Jr. always works. It's a money play. Just like Mike Conley and Marc Gasol on the high post, how they play the two-man game, how money that is, how efficient that play is. The Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson low post two-man game has become just as efficient, and to me, to be honest with you, it's probably even more deadly because you're dealing with much more length and athleticism between the two of Kyle Anderson and Jaren Jackson Jr. Kyle is much longer than Mike Conley. Jaren Jackson Jr. is far more athletic than Marc Gasol, but Jaren Jackson Jr. possesses a lot of the skill already that Marc Gasol possesses. So that two-man game is incredible. Why don't we see that enough? We didn't see it enough last night. Dylan Brooks got hurt again. We pray to God that that's not too serious. Garrett Temple, man, I wrote about earlier this year how he was going to be the starting shooting guard. I knew he was going to be the starting shooting guard. It was all over him. I was the one who said he should have been. But at this point, I think there might potentially need to be some change. The way I'm seeing it is, even if Garrett Temple isn't necessarily the problem, you ain't the solution either. And at 32, 33 years old on an expiring contract, you're not a long-term solution either. So with that being said, I'm going to start looking at my more potential long-term options at the 2 guard spot, like Dylan Brooks. And now Justin Holiday coming in, who's a little bit younger than Garrett Temple at 29, but not that much younger. It was just Justin Holiday getting ready to turn 30 this year. So Justin Holiday isn't exactly the youth movement himself. So that's the issue you're looking at, catch-22. Folks, that's what it is. I don't know where to go from here. I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't know where they at. This game here, man, last night. Man, because the problem with the Grizzlies is people will say, well, they need to make a trade. Because I feel the same way too. Like, man, make a trade, get creative, do something. The problem is the Grizzlies don't have any trade assets. They don't have any draft picks. The only trade assets we have are that are definitely tradable, because we don't even know if Mike Conley and Marc Gasol are even tradable with their contracts in mind and the length of their contract. You know, Marc's contract, he can potentially opt out this year, so you're not trading him anyway, because he can potentially opt out and walk this year. And the way this team is headed, Marc might walk on the outside. Marc might walk, unfortunately, and it will break my heart because Marc is one of my favorite players of all time, of any NBA team. He's just one of my favorite NBA players, period. Not one of my favorite Grizzlies. I just love watching Marc Gasol play. When Marc is on, you know, I heard people bashing Marc. They were saying, well, Marc Gasol isn't doing anything. He's been playing terrible the last 20 years. I'm like, and then I go look at the box score 2 nights ago, just Friday night, when the Grizzlies played the Nets, when they was in town, Marc Gasol had 13 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 blocks. What the hell else more can he do? Hell, he damn near had a triple-double. He did everything he could. And if he didn't have those 2 blocks, he probably would have been in position to get them 3 rebounds. So it would have been right at a triple-double pretty much. No, that 1 rebound and them 2-3 assists. So when you're looking at it now, I'm looking at it like, man, what Marc might not be out there scoring 30 or 40 points, but Marc, when you give me 13, 9, 7, and 2, it's kind of hard for me to blame you for the losses. Because if I'm looking at things, I'm saying, well, damn, this dude is doing everything. And then people will say, well, Marc Gasol's defensive rating has been in the tanker the last 20 games. His personal defensive rating has been terrible. I agree. But one of the things people don't realize, one of the things you got to consider is the fact the defense around Marc has been suspect lately. Garrett Temple has got lit up a couple times. Mike Conley has got lit up a couple times. Dame Lillard did his thing when he came to town. Joe Harris just did his thing 2 nights ago. D'Angelo Russell just did his thing 2 nights ago. Ed Davis didn't go off. Jared Allen didn't really go off. It was the backcourt who carried them to their victory. Marc Gasol does not play defense on the backcourt. That's not his responsibility, other than anchoring the defense. And guess what? Marc, a lot of times, is forced to help out. Players get beat. So when they get beat, Marc is forced to be the guy that can step on to help. And when he steps up to help, this way, here come the other player, either Marc's player or another, or a cutter, baseline or backdoor. They backdoor him or baseline him every time. But it's not Marc Gasol's fault. It's the man's fault who got beat the first place that forced Marc Gasol to front the post. So I just look at it and I'm like, we really looking at everything in perspective, because we blaming Marc Gasol. Y'all got to start blaming Conley. Straight up. I'm just going to call it like it is. Mike Conley is the highest paid player on this team. Mike Conley is the one who claims he should be an all-star. Mike Conley is the one y'all call elite. Mike Conley is the one y'all say is a top 20 NBA player, which is just out of, man, that just sounds almost like drunk talk at this point. Stop it. I bet not hear nobody say nothing about Mike Conley as a top 20 NBA player. Or I'm reporting you on Twitter or wherever you find me on. And that's the business. Follow me at Business Square. I'm Ed Memphis. This is Square Business Sports, and I'm out. Merch will be on the website soon, y'all. Purchase.